For those unaware, I actually bought myself an E280 parts car, particularly for its rear bumper, so I could have it restored and put onto my E430. But nonetheless, I don't think I'll be going down that path now because Tim has fallen in love with that E280 and he decided he must buy it off me, so it'll probably live another day. But since it's here, I have decided to have a look at the instrument cluster. The LCD was in fact completely blank, as it turns out, someone has been in there and basically half ripped off the ribbon cable. Now, I wasn't deterred by that. I decided to buy the replacement ribbon cables that you can get from AliExpress, and installing it is not actually that difficult, believe it or not. Aside from the ribbon cables with the heat-activated conductive glue already applied to them, you just need to get yourself one of these cheap T-bar soldering tips. I already had one of these cheap soldering stations that it fit to. I can't recommend the irons that they sell on AliExpress because they basically fall apart after the first use. But this works. Just make sure you use the included silicone strip because otherwise it will melt the ribbon cable. And as you can see, it did install practically perfectly. At the end of the day, there's a few columns and rows that aren't working, but it is still legible and it is a lot better than it was before. Considering there was no image and no ribbon cable at all when I got the car, it's a definite improvement. If you're interested, this is what the back of the instrument cluster looks like, and we will dive into this closer shortly. Of great interest discovered while working on this thing is that blue electrolytic capacitor that I'm showing you now. It did catastrophic damage to the PCB by leaking. It's actually completely isolated itself out of the circuit by eating its own tracks and also disconnected a via underneath it. And I'll show you that here. That's the carnage from the top side. You can't actually see clearly, but that via in the middle there is completely gone and the trace it connects to on the other side of the board is completely disconnected. And you can see the large trace going to the capacitor at the bottom was also completely disconnected. That capacitor was doing absolutely nothing, and as it turns out, it is very important for the LCD. Without that there, you basically have very limited, if any, row control of the LCD, so you'll have basically vertical lines from the top to bottom once that's disconnected. So I did my usual method of repairing a broken via. I actually used my micro drills to drill out the via and then use bodge wire through the via and soldered it on both sides. I then addressed the upper solder pad that had actually disconnected itself by adding bodge wires there as well. So this was never going to work without some of this extra surgery. I did have the machine working with the replacement ribbon cable, but yes, the image was completely distorted. After I had connected these traces again and that via that was disconnected in the middle, I basically had a 90% fully functional LCD, as you can see here. Now the previous owner also had some hideous white LEDs in the back of that LCD backlight, and that's just no good because you've got a yellow filter there. It just makes it look horrible. For the best results, I actually use yellow LEDs to backlight the LCD because of that yellowish orangish filter. It actually comes up looking a lot nicer, and this is what it looks like with the yellow LEDs. And I've also hardwired in white LEDs to backlight the gauges and needles, and they look really good. They're not overpowering, they're actually quite nice. Hard to demonstrate this during the daytime, but yeah, it's looking good and it's actually legible. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it's better than it was. I dare say the actual issue is with the LCD itself because I tried 2 different ribbon cables and I've never got absolute perfection. It's just a dud in the same place. It's possible that the actual conductive area on the glass is no longer there, but oh well, it still works. Now we can see what this car's been beeping about the whole time. Every time you start it up, it beeps. I'm guessing it's complaining about a service due or a bulb out. Let's see what it is. Service due now. Well, not really a surprise there, I guess. It hasn't been able to communicate for the longest time. Now that pulsing of the backlight is an effect of the camera. That's not visible to the human eye. I'm not entirely sure what the hell's going on there, but that's my phone that's doing that. And it's not blown out in the middle either. It's not visible. And the actual gauge backlighting, I must say, looks phenomenal. I'm going to have to reset the SRS with my star diagnostics because I did put it in key position 2 with the airbag disconnected. That's not hard to do. I'll do that next.